We are Suzi, Martin, and Julian, a family based in Seattle spending a long weekend on the Olympic Peninsula. In the last video, we stayed in Port Angeles and explored Hurricane Ridge in the Olympic National Park. By our normal standards for just the two of us, this would probably be easy, but it may not be so easy with a toddler. To conclude the weekend, we're stopping by the Olympic Game Farm in Sequim before spending a night in Port Townsend, and then heading back to Seattle. Well, it's that time again. We are packing up, we're leaving this hotel. We're actually leaving Port Angeles altogether, and we are heading to our next destination, which is Port Townsend. It's not that far away. So it's actually about 8:30 in the morning. We, got ourselves ready. Juju already ate a little breakfast of grapes, and we are gonna make that drive over. Should be a little bit less than an hour, hopefully. Juju, come back here. Yeah, I'm coming. Come, hold him.
Dada.
Okay, we gotta walk together because there's cars here. Oh my God. It was a smooth drive out of Port Angeles, but before our next destination, we first made a detour in the town of Sequim. We are here to do something I've been wanting to do for a very long time, but I think it'll actually be more fun with a small child. But first of all, we're gonna have to feed him. Egg. All right, we are here at Olympic Game Farm over in Sequim, Washington. It's our first time. We've never actually been through before, but I've always wanted to come through, but it actually makes sense doing it with a young toddler now who can identify a lot of animals. I think it's going to be very impactful.
Yeah, there's no way I would have paid $20 to look at animals from a car without a kid being excited about it.
$20 per person, by the way. It's not cheap, but at least the kid is free. Kids under 5, I believe, are free. Are you excited, Juju?
Hey, Juju. Office.
The nice thing though is that they give you an entire loaf of bread. You can actually get as many loaves as you want. So this is a lot of food. So we've begun, we've already seen some peacocks, we've seen some goats, we saw some deer.
You see that, Mommy? Cow. And the yak.
It's a baby.
Big cow. A big cow.
Just a big cow, that's what a yak is. No, we're done with you.
Oh, Juju. Just eat the bread.
That's by the cow. The cow is eating bread.
Yeah, whole slices.
Wow.
Oh, I'm surrounded.
Eat.
Yeah.
Woo.
Oh, you ate already.
Ooh.
No more. There's a baby.
Oh, baby.
No more.
Baby. Oh, hit the mirror.
Yeah.
It's coming.
Okay, no more for you.
Hi, baby.
I'm going.
Look, a baby bison.
Baby
See it?
riding.
It is coming. Whoa!
Very big and aggressive.
Oh my God.
You're scared. Okay, we're leaving.
Who's looking at us?
Oh.
Hi, buddy. Wow, big bear. Look at it.
I want a cheese. There.
Mm-hmm.
You see the bear, Juju?
Bear, eat the bread.
The
Yeah.
bread. Here, you want to give him some bread? Let's do that. There. There.
On the bread.
Let's see if he eats the bread.
A troll.
A troll. There it is. Hi, dear. Looking at us.
Okay,
Hi,
at
dear.
this.
Oh, it waved.
Yeah.
Hi. Oh, we saw probably the most exciting thing so far, which are the bears. But beyond that, there are actually some lions and tigers, which right now they're sleeping and you can't feed them either. There's like 2 layers of fence between us, which is a good thing. But yeah, look, tiger.
Whoa, it's big.
It's big,
Yeah.
it's sleeping.
Tigers are very big, Juju.
I want to sleep and do.
Lion sleeping, that's right.
Yeah, the black ones are going to fly.
Wow, that's exciting.
Wow, a big elk.
Hi, elk.
There you go.
Can I have a bread? Woo!
Uh-oh. Uh-oh, too close. Go away. Okay, that's it.
Okay.
No more. No more.
It's okay.
No more. Oh, no more. Go away.
Bye, elk.
Bye. See you.
All right, we finished our game farm experience. It took about an hour, I think, total. Depends on how many other cars are in front of you and how fast people go. I'm glad we got here towards the opening time because it was a little bit less crowded. Now that we're leaving at about 10:40, it's definitely starting to pick up traffic. But yeah, that was interesting. Definitely never seen a bison that close. Like, it's, you know, head directly inside of your car. I can still see the slobber marks that are left on the outside of the window. So definitely bring some Clorox wipes with you for afterward.
Well, one of them got into the car and licked Juju on the head.
Yeah. Yeah, he was getting a little scared towards the end. I was getting a little scared towards the end because they kind of sneak up on you and their face is like right in front of you and you're like, whoa, where did you come from? So, but it's okay. Overall, everybody I think had a good time, so.
We had to wash Juju's head.
Yeah.
From Sequim, it was another hour drive to Port Townsend, a historic seaport known for its Victorian-style architecture.
It'll be fine.
Barely stops for 5 seconds, but...
Might be one of the better coffee cakes I've ever had. It's really nice with the sauce on it.
Digging.
Digging. Did you find your sand? Your dirt? Well, we made it to our destination of Port Townsend, and Julian is already scouring the beach for sand and rocks and mischief.
You gotta keep one eye on him at all times because he'll either go in the water or climb the rocks and just like barnacles like razor blades and stuff like that. But this is very pleasant. We're looking at sailboats. Weather is very calm and temperate. He's running away.
I know. I like this little front screen because I can see him, see where he's going. So the ferry terminal is actually right over there. Unfortunately, it's not the ferry that we need. This is a ferry that would take us further away from Seattle, but nice option if you want to hop on a ferry and go even further. I have to look up exactly where it goes because I'm not entirely sure myself. But there is a nice little beach here in the historic part of Port Townsend. Julian has already asked for his water clothes to go in. Yeah, I don't know. We did tell him we might swim today, but we'll see. It is definitely chillier outside. But let me touch the water and get a sense of how cold it is. It's pretty frigid. It's cold. So I don't know. So we ended up having lunch at this place called Tommy Knockers. They had, their specialty was like the British pasty pie thing, but we didn't actually end up getting that. We went pretty American style. We got like a meatloaf. Actually, the one thing we did get that was British was like a Scotch egg, but also the salmon chowder and the crab cakes. It was actually a really good lunch. Lots of food.
Yeah, good food. Very expensive too. $74 for 2.5 people to eat and have one beer.
Yep.
So prices are insane. We need to make millions and millions of dollars to be able to eat out.
Even in Port Townsend.
Right, in a small town full of 55-year-olds on average. I guess they're pretty rich ones.
Well, this is a tourist town though, we'll give them that. Like, people do live around here and the average age is a little bit older, but judging by the people that we're seeing today, they're on the younger side. There are, I think, like some 20-something-year-old groups as well as families with younger children. So it definitely does bring in a younger crowd for this holiday weekend at least.
That's right, it is a holiday, so that's why. It's nice, but it's busy. I like it. People are enjoying.
So one thing that is a draw here are these Victorian-style buildings. It's not a huge downtown area, but what is, this historic area is really nice if you just go by the architecture alone.
It's also walkable, so that makes it coveted because America designed very poorly, and only the old towns are actually walkable. And so wherever it is walkable, like New York, Greenwich Village, here in Port Townsend, people are flocking to it. So that tells you what should be made more of,
Yeah. Yeah, and most of the businesses here are, you know, full. I only saw a couple of places that were empty for lease, but they are mostly, there's a few food places, but lots of art galleries actually. I saw a bookstore, some toy stores, so nice shopping if that's what you're into.
Yeah, when we saw the entry for the city, there was a sign that said, "Welcome to Port Townsend, the Victorian art community." So that's what they market it as,
Yep.
and it is so.
So tonight's hotel is quite different from last night's hotel. Only staying here for one night, but figured that it was pretty good idea. So we're staying at the Monarch Hotel tonight, which is pretty central to the historic downtown. It's walking distance to pretty much everything that we were already at today. But it's pretty cool to actually be staying in one of these historic hotels in downtown. It has that Victorian style on the outside and the inside as well. Like, it feels like a little apartment. It probably was an apartment for somebody at some point. But again, only one night here, but that's okay. It's totally worth it for the vibe. So there's one main room here with the bed, and it actually opens up into the little kitchen. And yeah, we can see outside down onto the sidewalk and the streets of where we were at earlier.
For the afternoon, we drove over to Fort Worden. Originally constructed as an army base, it now serves as a state park, with vacation rentals, beach access, and forest trails.
I did it.
You did it! You came down the hill. Yeah, you did. As you can see, it turned out being a pretty wet and gray, drizzly day today, which is fine actually. This is weather that we're used to. So, you know, we brought our jackets, we're able to still go out in this weather. And yeah, there is the beach here, but there's also like a covered forest, and the forest will be a little bit better for this kind of weather. So we came here to show Juju the beach, but we're probably gonna head back to the forest and spend the rest of the afternoon in there. A big rock. There's a big rock.
Oh, another pine cone. Here. Oh. I drop.
Yeah,
Yeah.
The rock's not gonna fit.
That's too big.
What do you see, Juju? Deer. Oh, they're going.
We're marveling at the Victorians over here.
Exactly. I'm explaining that to Julian. He's like, what are we doing? I'm like, look at the building. It's nice.
We have hotels here, wine shops, all kinds of bougie luxuries. This whole strip is in the Victorian style of more than 100 years ago at this point. It's very charming.
We spent the rest of the day shopping and finished up with a delicious seafood dinner.
Well, we woke up this morning in Port Townsend. It is not very lively right now. Most of these businesses don't open till 9 or 10 o'clock. We have yet to even find a coffee shop that's open right now, and it's like 8:30 a.m.
But we're on the sea. It smells really good. The temperature is not bad actually, despite being gloomy. And it's a pleasant place to actually sleep right on the water. I like that part. And last night I went out to 2 bars and they're also right on the water. And you can see the whale bones from the bar.
Speaking of whale bones, we're about to go show you them to you. So let's go check them out. If we can hustle this little guy to go see them. The moorage rate is 47 a night if you have a bigger ship, or 35 if you have a smaller one.
Juju's over here.
Juju's over here.
The whale bones.
Whale bones.
That's why it's not in the water. So we've made it to Gunther. He has a name. He's a gray whale that washed up nearby, and they put him on display. And yeah, it's pretty big.
It's 42 feet and it was named posthumously after washing up on the beach. And it's like a real bone, I think.
That's what we're debating. We're like, is this real bone?
It's real,
or
yeah.
is it like a cast of it? I don't think that's real. Well, for breakfast, tea, and coffee this morning, we stopped by a cafe, which is right next to that lighthouse cafe. It's right on the water. It's actually pretty spacious inside and had a pretty big menu. So definitely recommend stopping by either one of those 2 cafes. I'd recommend the one that's on the water, just because it was a little bit more to our taste. But that was a great way to start the morning. We had a scone and a walnut cookie, and yeah, that was our little breakfast. Both of those cafes don't open till 9 a.m. though, so just keep that in mind. Afterward, we took a little walk down to the far end of the historic downtown to where we saw a little playground and this open field park here. So a nice little spot for Julian to get some of his energy out before we continue our journey, heading back towards Seattle today. And yeah, it's still like, this town is still kind of waking up, so it's definitely a place that you want to visit kind of later on in the late morning or the early afternoon, because nothing really opens up until about 10 or 11 in terms of the shops. But walking through, you can see that there's so much history in this town. I just read that the City Hall building here is actually the oldest operating City Hall in the entire state, because the City Council still meets there and has been meeting there since, you know, that building started, like way back in the day. So lots of history here. You can see that it's well preserved. A lot of those buildings are in really good shape. Some are being currently remodeled. But the town itself is, you know, a little bit small in terms of how big it is. You can drive through the whole thing or walk through the whole thing pretty quickly. But what you do see, you know, it's really well preserved. There's that Victorian vibe in the buildings and in a lot of the shops around here as well.
I'm going down.
So one thing about Port Townsend, the reason it's historic like this, is that this is the strait into the ocean. So when they first came here with ships, they stopped here and made harbor, and they built the city up. It was the biggest port in this area. But then Seattle grew faster because it's down there, it's a safer harbor, the weather is better and so on, and there's more land around it. So then Seattle surpassed it very quickly, and this place kind of fell out of favor with boats, really, with ships, and all the settlement moved over that way.
Kind of ship.
What's that?
Kind of ship.
Ship.
Drive.
Are you driving a ship?
But you can see the place still keeps a very strong maritime tradition, and when you come here they actually keep up that same era's vibe, like the Victorian look, the buildings and all the maritime motifs in the shops and the restaurants and decor in the houses, everything like that. It's still very present, which makes it charming, because that still goes back to the old world charm, the Victorian era, which I really like.
In fact, several years ago, I actually came out here on an editorial assignment, and I took photos of a couple that lives out here in Port Townsend. They bought one of the older Victorian homes. They restored it to a point, but their whole point of their living here is that they wanted to live like old school Victorians. And so they dressed that way. They weren't using a lot of modern appliances and technology. They were trying to live like Victorians. And I believe that they have a YouTube channel and a blog, and they wrote some books about it. As far as I can tell, they're still out here. So I should actually look them up and try to, you know, make a little video about them or just update that story.
But yeah, there are such people out here that are trying to preserve the Victorian culture and live that in a modern day society, which is pretty cool. This is right outside of the playground park, but you can see this old rusted anchor and a big piece of driftwood, which someone carved a little bench into. And there's a beach right behind it.
Then we began the long trek back home to Seattle.
Currently on one of many ferries here in the Washington State ferry system. This one is going over to Kingston, which is a pretty short ride, but there are actually other ferries in the area that will take you all around Washington State. It's definitely an experience that I recommend doing if you ever come visit. Hi, little boy.
Hi, little boy.
What you doing?
The horn scared him because he ran outside and then it sounded and he cried really hard.
Oh, yeah, it was pretty loud.
Yeah.